Well, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us today for another CTC software webinar. Today we are going to be talking about two tools in our survey portion of our project suite to help you office people get your work done much more efficiently. My name is Tony Crick. I'm the Civil Product Manager here at CTC Software. And this webinar will be recorded to our YouTube channel that you can view later or share with your friends and colleagues. And as we go along here, if you have any questions, please feel free to put them into the questions panel. We will get to those at the end of the webinar. And if you're viewing this on our YouTube channel, you have questions, put them in the comment pane and we'll get back to you. So with that, let's get started. Today, we're going to talk about the two tools, Feature Line to Alignment, called Feature to Align on the toolbar. And what this will do, it will enable you to create alignments from feature lines or survey figures from your drawing, and then profiles as well that you can use in the design process, and also to get those out in the field to stake those. And then Survey Sweeper is another one. This one will delete survey points and figures from your drawing and then get them out of the database too, which will alleviate that tedious process of finding those things, getting those out of there, and not having them repeat as you continue with your survey. So both of these are part of our CIM Project Suite of tools, and those are intended for the everyday Civil 3D user creating design and production drawings. We are currently on version 26.1, which will work in the last 4 versions of Civil 3D back to version 2022. Today we're going to show you how to convert those survey figures and feature lines to alignments and profiles. We're going to get some of the bad figures out of our database, along with survey points that may be busted due to field errors or whatever. And then that will show you how you can support your design workflows moving forward with more accurate data. So as you see up there in our screenshot of our ribbons, they're on the far left side there. And there were 2 we're talking about, our feature line, feature to align, and survey sweeper. We also have point file converter, which helps so that all you need is one set of point codes in the field for your survey guys. Feature line to align, it will convert those survey lines and figures to alignments. We can then create profiles using a native window for doing that, which will help us to create staking files and design files. Survey Sweeper will delete those unwanted figures from the database, also those errant points that came in with the point file where there was a CSV or whatever. And this will help you to reduce all of your editing time. Get those things out the door and into design much quicker. And point file converter is another part of it. We're not going to talk about that one today. We have other webinars on that if you'd like to see that. But what I wanted to point out here is that feature line to alignment and survey sweeper, they're free tools. So if you don't have our tools and you download our 14-day free trial, those will be available for you in perpetuity. So with that, let's jump into a live demo and show you how this thing can work for you. Okay, so we have a starter drawing here ready to go. We want to get our survey data in there first. We'll do that the typical way. So you might start with something like this without any data ready to go. So the first thing we're going to want to do is check our user settings here, and we see that we don't have any, everything is blank. So I'm going to import one. You would probably have that ready to go. You would probably already have it loaded with all the settings you need, but I'm going to grab mine here and I'm going to open it and load it up so that I get all of my figure databases here, survey database settings, my extended data, current line work, code set, everything then is ready to go. So once I say okay there, now I see they're available. So I have several in that user setting right here. Once you get those set up, you can save those out. And like I said, you probably have those already available that you can load in, or you're already set up to do those. So the first thing we want to do is we want to check our drawing settings. Oops, we want to come and check our settings and see what the coordinate system is. So we need to make sure that that matches. And this one has no datum, no projection. So this one is generic. So we want to make sure that our survey database is the same. Oops, that's not here. I have to make one first. So let me first create a database. So I need to first set my working folder to get where my projects need to be. And I'm going to create that here. This is where I have my user settings, by the way. So I'm going to create that here in my survey database folder. I'm going to set that folder. And I actually already have those created. So I don't need to create those, but if I were to create those, I would simply come here and create a new local survey and then enter all the information I need there. There it is on my other screen. So you just enter it here to create those. So I created that one today. We're going to do this one. I'm going to open it for editing. And now we're just going to step through it the way you probably have numerous times through the past. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to import my survey data. I'm going to set it to that one. And then I'm just going to step through here. So I'm going to go and make sure I'm set to a point file, and I'm going to go get my actual point file for this, which is this one. I'm going to open that up, and I want to set my point file format. So this one, I have extra data in there to accept any extra shots, data shots that they have shot in the field for, in this particular case, for storm sewers and sanitary sewers. So with that, you just step through it as normal. So make sure everything is selected correctly here. So we see the ones that are highlighted are the ones being used over here. So I want to create the line work on import. Yes. If I didn't have the correct line work code set already here, I could select that from my pull down and then import description. I don't need that, but I do want to insert the points into the drawing, and then I can just finish. And part of my settings in my settings file, automatically zooms to where they came into. So that's a setting in your user settings. If you're having difficulty with that, that's where you would set that. So as we bring this in here, we see it came in pretty good. We have some issues though. We see some of these didn't quite get coded. So as per typical, we would have to edit these things. So let's do that now. So I'm going to edit my figure. Whoops, wrong button. So I'm going to edit my figure properties. Pull that over here. So we need to add this point here. For whatever reason, it bypassed that. So let's add that one. So I'm just going to hit the plus here, and I'm going to pick that from the drawing, make it easier. So I'll just pick that one, hit my enter button. I'll delete that blank space, and I'll just move it to the proper location. So it needs to be right after 294, and we have it. So okay, that one's taken care of. We have a couple more to fix here. So let's jump over to this tree line. We'll do the same thing. This is the repetitive, tedious stuff that you have to do sometimes. So these are out of order. We need to have 458 after 459. Looks like, okay. So that takes care of that. Let's do this building. This should have had a line code, looks like. So let's add that in there. Actually, no, let me wait on that one. So let's fix this one up here first. We'll fix this one. And this one, we need to have these ordered a little differently. So it has to go 375 that through there to get there. So just simply reordering these guys. So we see that they're in the right place. Let me open that up a little better. So probably 375, let's look at that. 375, 382, 383, and 381. Got one more, there we go. So that one's taken care of. For the most part. What did I miss? 374. I'm just going to live with that for today. So we took care of that one. We'll take care of this one here. Looks like we need to add to there. Add that one. We'll do the same thing. I'm going to add, pick it in the drawing. And then I need to move that up. I should have done it before, so I didn't have to do all this, but we'll just push it up. Where am I at here? 257. Let me fix that. Let me delete that out of there. Let's start over. Okay, let me do it again. This is the problem with these things. We don't get those right in the field. I'll just hand enter it here. Why isn't that right? $259. Looks like I don't even need that one. There. Okay. So one more, let's fix this one up here. And this one, we need to change that point. So I'm going to edit the survey point properties. So that one looks like it was shot wrong. That needs to be actually a EOC1 to match the other ones. EOC1. Say okay. So update my line work. Yes. I don't need to bring the points in. Yeah, I do. Because I need that point to update. So I brought that point in. But you see what happened? This came in again because it's in the database. So if I hadn't taken that out before, that's what Survey Sweeper is going to do for us. So let's add the one more here. We need to add that point or fix that. It looks like it missed. Oops. They missed a line code, a begin code on this one. So I'll just put a B there. Okay. Enter. This time I don't need to bring in my points. That changes automatically. But it brings in the line work. So we've done this a couple of times and now we have the bad lines in here. So here's a survey figure or survey sweeper. We'll get those out of there. But first let's look at those. So if we needed to get rid of those natively, how would we do that? Well, let's look at this tree one because that's easy. That's probably at the bottom of the list. So we have two of them there and we don't want to. And you could certainly pick through here and see these and then delete that manually if you wanted to and then go through and do all of those. Same with some of these concrete ones. Like that one. So there's that one, which is the other one that is no good. Hard to find there. There it is. So it's, see, they're not easy to get out of there. And you certainly don't want to be spending time doing that. So let's open Survey Sweeper. Let's grab it here. And it's telling me to select the survey figure or point. Let me get this out of the way so we can read that. So I just have to go through and start picking these lines. Grab that guy, that guy. Which one is bad? That one, that one. So now it deletes all of those out of there. And how do we know? Well, right here, we can see that came out of the database. There's only one there. And the other one was down here somewhere. But it's clearly gone now. So Survey Figure helps get that out of there much quicker, much easier, and they won't keep coming in every time you have to reprocess your line work. So once we've done that, we can move on with our survey here and start to create our surface. So let's come back to our prospector. Let's make a new surface. I'll call it existing ground. E.g. existing, I'll call it conditions. Say OK. Everything is good with it. Set my styles. Everything is good. Say OK. Let's go and add. Create this surface by point group. Oops, let me first check my point groups. So I know I need to update those because I changed some things there. So let me update that. And I'm going to push that surface DTM to the top of the list. Make sure I don't have any issues when I create my surface. So I'll push that up there. Then I'll just do it by point group. And I'll add that one from the list and create the surface. So once again, we've created the surface after bringing in the points, and now we've noticed we have a couple of busts in our survey points. Pretty sure they don't do that, judging by some of the other shots around there. Change the rod height or whatever happened, who knows in the field, but we can get rid of those also with Survey Sweeper. So it works on points and survey figures. So I can just delete those, pick them and delete them out of there, and then hit my surface or rebuild. And it's all updated, and now those points are no longer in my point database that goes with this drawing. So just like that, pretty easy to create things. So let's look at feature line to alignment. It says feature line to alignment, but we can also use it on survey figures that came in here. So if this, in this situation, if this was building this site and this, let's say this curb got removed, but we wanted to put it back in exactly like it is and then match here, back to here, we could use our feature line to alignment to get that in there, or to create an alignment out of it, which then we can get into the field. So I'll pick it there, and then it's a standard the same thing you'll see natively with creating profiles, alignments from your objects or whatever. So we'll just go through here and we'll set these. So I'll put it on my site, and I will set the alignment style to basic. Layer, I'll put this on my V curb or V curb right there. Alignment label set, we'll add the geometry points. Those would be important. Name, I'll call this stake curb. And style, I'll call basic. No, I'll use my design style right there. And then also add the profile in case I need that for the design folks when they get it. So this is straight out of Civil 3D, drops us into the same format you would see everywhere else. I'll change this because I don't need that. If it's 823 to 823, I can probably say 820 to 830. So I don't get a giant profile. And then just move on through here. Got my profile coming in, and I'll just go ahead and create it. just like you would natively. So now we can get this off to the design folks, and they can begin to do their matching right here to get that in there. So one other drawing I want to show that we converted this survey figure, but it also does feature lines as well. So here's just a little adjacent parking lot to this road, been designed using feature lines. Here you can see that's a feature line, and we just do the same thing. So it's just simply running through that again, but I'll do it to show, and we'll do, call this back of curb. And again, I'll make this curb and then go through and add these. This time I don't need a site. I'm just going to say that. Alignment type, proposed is good. Alignment layer, that's fine. Labels, I'll use that same one. Stake back of curb. And style would be design. I'll use this one. And then we'll draw that in the, again, in the profile. This is called curb. Next. Actually, let's go back. No, next here. Let's do a look here. 78 to 83. I don't need it that tall. I'll call it 780. 800 is good. Let's create the profile. So now we have, whoops. So now we have the profile there as well if we wanted to check any grades or whatever on there, and we're good to get that out to the field folks. So that's it for survey feature or survey sweeper and feature line to alignment. Should have mentioned one thing here. Let me back up. I thought I had a slide for that. Yes, I didn't mention here, which I meant to, is that the light green, they're free. I guess I did mention that, but I'll mention it again. Free tools. So once again, they're part of the CTC CIM Project Suite. Currently, we're at 26.1. We also have our Manager Suite, more for managers, creating templates and stuff for the everyday users. And if you want to try it, if you don't have it and you want to have those free tools, you go to ctcsoftware.com and you can download our 14-day free trial and you will have those. If you would like to purchase our set, which we would encourage, you can also get that there. And as always, if you need any help or have any ideas for us, we build our tools for you folks out there to make your lives easier. Contact us here at support and we'd be happy to accommodate you. So with that, thank you for joining us today. I hope to see you at the next webinar.